have on 4 lines. I have Fate Extella Link, Nemesis, Dark Souls, game exclusivities, Borderlands 3. What the fuck? Okay, I know what the last one's about.
All right, that makes sense.
But
I recall now that I'm super excited about it, but I recall now why I said to put a pin in talking about Dark Souls. But that's because I think I mentioned this a little bit on Live with Lucky, that I appreciate Dark Souls as a concept, because I think that like a lot of their aesthetics and design and some of their lore stuff is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm pretty sure they're a genre defining of dark fantasy right now. Like they've kind of established that pretty well.
That dark and gritty tune. It's like,
so
shit's
like
fucked. You're gonna die
I'm super
a lot.
excited about that. And like every time I watch somebody play Dark Souls, or I'll get in the mood to like watch it, but I'm like, I never want to, because I tried to play Demon Souls and I'm like, this is just a little bit too like grindy and unashamedly punishing, and I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna play it. I'll sell my copy back to GameStop where I got it from, and then Ron will buy me a copy and make me fly it back home, and it'll sit on my shelf, because Ron really fucking loves Dark Souls since Demon Souls. He's loved that genre, and like I'm
the same way. Like I like
too.
the genre and I like the combat and stuff, but I have come to accept that I'm not that great at that kind of game.
Yeah, I think that just like watching people play it and do it, it's like theoretically, if we made a thing out of it, we could probably grind our ass through Dark Souls games. I'd want maybe another couple of people to like throw through the rotation. But you can monkeys and typewriters that game. It's just, is that fun? Sitting alone by myself at home, no. It is not fun.
Like I said, like if I was to play Bloodborne and you were on the couch and we talk shit about it, and it would be like, all right, my turn, and you can laugh at me when I'm running scared away from werewolves on a bridge.
And then immediately you have the controller and you're like, fuck, no, shit. Oh god, there's another one, fuck.
It's like, Omega, take the wheel, and you're like, no, keep that away
throw
from
the
me.
Controller at me, shit. Yeah, audience. I own a copy of Bloodborne. I'm sure Lucky owns a copy of Bloodborne.
I said, I love the aesthetic of Bloodborne.
Oh yeah,
Bloodborne's
like super cool. I love it a lot. I've actually played it a little, and you can even see me play it like a couple of times in some old streams that nobody ever watched. Like seriously, we got stuff that's just archived from when we were just trying to figure shit out. So like, do actually check out our channel and playlist at times.
Maybe we should do the Patreon bumper real quick.
Yeah, now that we're 2.5 minutes in, so I will say really quick. This episode is brought to you by patrons, which includes Ahago Comics, Kwa, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Nestor Flores, and Soto-san. What's the numbers again? They just thanked us, so they were 0424. That's right. I'll get that off the tip of my tongue soon. It's a brand new patron, so takes a little getting used to. At least it's better than the Patreon Q&A I recorded, which I haven't turned into a video yet, but I've got the recording. I just didn't have time last night to.
Called it a good jolly show. And all like, that's the first time I've heard our stuff described as that, and this pleases me. Thank you.
So hey audience, what's up? What's up actually is that The Matrix is 20 years old now.
I'm old.
Just want to throw it out there. That means I was like 6 or 7 when that came out. I'd have to actually do the math. Because I was...
Oh, man, and
born in 92, but it was like super late. So would that be... I mean, mathematically, I'm 26 now, and it was 20 years ago, so I should have been 6, but I'm like, but does that work? Was I really that young? I don't know.
Yeah, man, 20 years ago, fucking trench coats, fucking latex, and 6 shades.
Well, yeah, so I mentioned that Dark Souls kind of defined how we think of dark fantasy now for, like, the past at least decade or so, for a while. Like, it's become a zeitgeist phenomena. The Matrix was totally that. That was 110%, like, cyberpunk stuff. And then also a lot of deep philosophical questions, like, red pill is just a term now.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, it's, like, super philosophical. And then those other 2 movies came out, which were also philosophical, and I'm not sure a lot of people got. But it might have been a little ahead of their time.
Oh, yeah.
But because there's a lot of deep free will and self-actualization shit in those movies that, like, I mean, I just said that I was probably 6 when the first one came out, so.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, Matrix was definitely a movie I've watched a few times, but I don't think I've watched it in, like, 10 years.
Yeah, and so my interestingly enough, my dad, he took one of my older brothers to see that movie. Because obviously it was rated R, so they were going to take 6-year-old me to the theater without seeing it first, so.
Mm-hmm.
But he fucking loved that movie, so we own all 3 of them on DVD somewhere.
somewhere.
I think my parents also went to go see Reloaded in IMAX. I obviously didn't go because there's some stuff in that one. But like I think by the time Revolutions came out, I was old enough to maybe go see it in the theater, or maybe we just waited. Well, that's what we do now. Is we almost the family almost never sees anything in the fucking theaters. We wait for like it to come out on Netflix or something, or rent it from Google for like $5, just because theater tickets are so fucking expensive. But we've talked that one to death. I think
we talked about this, but I'm okay with like paying a little bit more for theaters because I do enjoy that theater experience.
Yeah, some of them are worth it. I think the last movie I went to go see in theaters was I'm completely blanking on what. Oh, Infinity War. That's what it was called. I was like, what was the subtitle of that Avengers movie? Yeah, it was Infinity War because it's not Endgame yet. No, it's not out
soon.
But that was just literally my mother was going out to do something, out in because the movie theater is a couple towns over. It's like a 20-minute drive. So she was like, "Hey, I'm going out over to the mall anyway. Do you want to like?" Because my parents are always out at me to like leave the house more. Do you want to go watch a movie while I'm out? And I'm like, yeah, I'll watch a fucking free movie. So yeah, that was the last movie I saw in theaters, and that was okay. Usually on my birthday, we go out to see a movie just because that's a thing we've been doing for like the past 10 years, if not longer, as like a family tradition. This year we didn't because in case you guys forgot, I was sick over my birthday, so we stayed in and rented Solo instead, and I ate McDonald's, which was perfectly fine by me because I actually really liked Solo. Criminally undermarketed movie. It's a terrible shame that it had to come out after Last Jedi. Just because I think you and I have both said that we're okay about Last Jedi as a movie, but it was definitely super volatile, so it completely fucking killed Solo, which is a shame. Because that movie was actually okay. Like beat for beat, it felt very natural.
Well, as I said, like my stance on a lot of things, I don't take a hard edge on like things. I don't call myself a critic. I say, hey, you don't need to like have some deep like philosophical meaning or pander to something to like have it be an enjoyable experience.
Mm-hmm.
So,
there's definitely, and I think for The Last Jedi, there's a lot of great moments in that movie. It definitely really did need like another editing pass or something. Like, I'll admit it was too long. Like there was stuff that didn't matter. It's just that because it didn't matter, it didn't take me out of the parts I liked. Like there were several shots in that which were just phenomenally great. There are moments in there which I think have a resonance to the franchise and could have had an importance to the story. I do think that Rian Johnson was a little up his own asshole, though. Like, as from a filmmaking perspective, he was. It feels like he was deliberately trying to like. Everybody makes the subvert your expectations joke, but like, it also doesn't actually subvert your expectations. So like, it's kind of a kludge job where it felt like he was making some reaches thematically and even cinematographically to like do something weird and artistic, which I'll be like, I'm not opposed to, but at the same time, that's not really Star Wars for me. Like,
I don't know. I'm still gonna say like the fucking I can't remember her name, but when she did the hyper
oh yeah, no, Emerald Holdo, that jump was my theater dead silent. Except for I think somebody, and I think it sounded like it was a large black man, gasped.
Yeah. Like, so like, as I said, like...
there are shots in that movie that are breathtaking, and there are sequences that are really, like, really good. I was, much like I was after Rogue One for weeks, I was quoting, I am the Force is with me. We were throwing back and forth, let the past die, kill it if you have to, for like a couple weeks after I actually saw that movie. And honestly, I think that there's an okay point to that. It's just, it also, especially for Star Wars fans, it kind of resonates. Like, but I think we've also had discussions about The Last Jedi thematically. We're not here to talk about movies, other than to remind you that The Matrix is old.
It's What's Up. We can talk about movies if we fucking want.
Yeah, welcome to the longest episode of What's Up ever.
Probably. But
and if it's getting close to 3 hours, I'll just split the fucking recording. If we have to.
Let me do this.
But let's see. So your 4 bullet points were. I don't think we actually. I feel like Excel Link must be old because I don't think we've done anything to actually talk about that new.
Oh well, you did. You did do the. I knew. Yeah, because I think last time we actually talked about how you did the. I might erase that real quick. you did the extra mission.
Yes, I recorded those.
Yeah, but
I need to record more. I've just been very busy juggling other stuff. Because I'll say that I got through the first story pass. If I haven't said that out loud on camera yet, or to remind people in case I did. So like I have to work through to clear out some more stages before I unlock true stuff. It's just I haven't felt like I've had the time and motivation because we've been playing a lot of fucking games, and I think technically I'm playing more games than you. Well, no, you play Warframe too. Still, you like get your Warframe grind on.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, if I'm not playing Warframe, I'm usually playing Conan Exiles. Prepare for like an hour and a half just on fucking that.
Yeah, hi, welcome to the Conan cast, which is where the name of this episode comes from, the Agency of Tiddy.
You are gonna name it.
Of course I'm gonna fucking name it that. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm trying to remember. I heard other people talk about something, but they discussed with because they were from a larger production company, they have an actual, like, marketing department or whatever you want to call it, but, like, they actually talked about what the title of a video should do is make people be like, how, or no really? So, like, no, like, Agency of Tiddy is definitely, like, what the fuck are they talking about kind of title.
It is.
Much like I think that our current Let's Talk FGO title is good and challenging. It's like, you call it a challenge quest? Because, like, that's a question that evokes people to be like, answer it by watching the show.
Yeah, if there's two terms I would like to use to describe my my Conan experience, it would be Agency of Tiddy and unintentional cannibalism.
Yeah. You ate a lot of human flesh on accident.
Yeah,
no,
I misunderstood my goddess's intentions. The what?
Well, I say it was accidental. It was intentional. Just you thought you were doing it for a different reason.
Yeah. So let's see here.
So Conan Exiles is one of the PS Plus games this month. And if you've watched Live with Lucky, you know that while Lucky was recording that, I actually started playing the game. I downloaded it and started playing it. It's kind of like the thing I was doing to kill time. So immediately after that recording, Lucky jumped in, and then it's been kind of a roller coaster since then. You're playing it right now, aren't you?
Yep. As I said, I have to fucking upgrade the fucking. I have to fucking
I don't want to play together with you right now because I'm sure that'll involve internet connection things, which might fuck up the recording. But I'm gonna see if can I actually. Also, yeah, you can hear Borderlands starting in the background. By the way, we're gonna talk about that later. I gotta find a remote.
But right now, yeah. So we had it's a multiplayer. It's a multiplayer game.
What I was trying to do is I'm trying to see, can I actually sit at my computer desk and play at the same time like I did with Live with Lucky, while also actually still talking and watching the audio bars and stuff. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't know if you said it while I was away from my earbuds. Did you say what you felt you needed to do with Conan?
No.
Okay.
Look, I completely lost my train of thought because my controller is being a fucking dick as usual.
Just need to get you a new controller.
I'm not gonna get a new controller because those are fucking expensive, but I'm gonna get a charging station which doesn't use the fucking USB port.
Alright.
That way I can still use the same controller and have a new fucking have a new charge port. Cause fucking PS4 controllers are expensive, yo. It's like, I swear to God, like I wish I could just bend whatever fucking
I gotta switch over to the studio account for a Twitter, but I'm just gonna share a little something with you that I just saw on the Twitters.
Oh no!
But I gotta retweet this from
our account.
Oh
God! Hang on. Hang on. I gotta sass him now. Hang on.
But alright. And I've stopped worrying about long extended dead air in WhatsApp because I'll just cut that shit out.
You'll cut that shit out.
Editing.
I am now typing to a voice. Make sure you put professional Sleepbois on all your business cards from now on.
We're not gonna shut up about that voice. We will continue to say that about you until you come on and talk to us. I'm assuming he's probably going to go to sleep right now. Otherwise, he could be here. Though I don't know if he has time and stuff to do that.
Sorry, I just almost dropped my controller.
Okay, don't drop shit. All right, so audience, I'm officially attempting to play Borderlands Game of the Year Edition on PS4 while recording the episode. So we'll see how this goes. We're gonna pilot test a lot of things right here, right now, with what's up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the other game I'm playing while Lucky is still fiddling around with stuff. Like, he mentioned that he Warframes. I totally did, in fact, buy Borderlands Game of the Year Edition, because I'm like, I think I said this in the episode where we talked about it coming out. I was like, it's been a hot minute since I played that game. And so I'm playing it right now. It's, like, you can see some of the quality of life stuff. Like, you can swap heads now, and there's a golden chest area in Firestone.
Oh yeah, get your fucking shift codes and
shit. Yeah, you can shift code from the main menu. There's a big ad to buy Borderlands 3 on the start menu of Game of the Year, which is pretty funny. We got a release date for that, by the way. That's September 19th.
Yeah, but here's where big kerfuffles have fucking happening. That initial launch date is only for the Epic Games Store. Apparently,
it's also for consoles, which is why I'm fine.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's for consoles. It's not exclusive to the Epic Store.
Hang on.
Also going to be on like PS4 and stuff. I'm pretty sure that's the release date.
Borderlands 3 release date. Let me see here.
I'm not carrying any.
See, we got news from like 4 days ago.
No, like if you, I'm pretty sure if you watch the release trailer, it's got all the logos, except it doesn't have Steam. It has Epic on it, so it's got like Xbox, PS4, Epic Game Store.
Oh, you're right.
So,
I don't know.
Fine.
I don't know if I want to play Borderlands 3 on my console. I've always played it on my PC.
That's weird to me.
How do I feel
I've
about
always
that?
played it on, because that's the only place you can actually enjoy shit like split screen. Not that matters.
Yeah, I know, but that's
we're gonna team up. But I've played it on console. Also, don't let Ron lie to you if he says he played it on PC. We played the first two together sometimes on PS3. So, like, don't let him lie to you about his PC Master Race cred.
Yeah,
that's only like the last 5 years or so. Chewed up by siphons right now.
DualShock 4 disconnected. Please charge the battery. I wish I fucking could. What is like not connecting in this? I need to know.
Or like basic troubleshooting is everything secure on all sides, because I've had that problem before. My cable is getting kind of worn out. I might have to buy a new one of those soon.
It's not the cable, trust me. I've used multiple cables. It like only wants to charge if it's like in it, and the like cord's a little fucking wiggly. I'm like, just sometimes it charges, sometimes it doesn't. Like it has to be like this precarious fucking position.
I have phones that charge like that.
It's like it needs to be just at the right angle, and heaven forbid I sneeze in the general vicinity, because then it'll stop fucking charging. I literally have to spend like 20 minutes a night, like carefully like tying the cord to the fucking controller so that it doesn't budge, and then gingerly set it down light enough that it'll make Indiana fucking Jones pop an erection on how good it is. It's like, God fucking damn it. Like, charging my PS4 controller should not be like this much a hassle. Like, let's see, how long have I had this PS4? I want to say like at least a few years.
Well, yeah.
3-4 years.
When did you get it? When it came out?
No. It wasn't like immediately when it came out. What was like one of the first games I got? That might give me a good idea of when I get it. Was it The Division?
But yeah, so while Lucky's doing back math, the game of the year is pretty good. It reminds me that they did make some serious improvements in 2 and pre-sequel. Like, the opening to the original Borderlands, very slow. Like, it's pretty slow paced. The story and characterization and stuff doesn't take off for like a lot of quests. Like, I'm level 20 right now, and I've just left Firestone. I'm like, I feel like that's probably about the first act of the game in terms of pacing, but goddamn it felt way longer than that. And it takes you a long time. Also, I feel like their leveling algorithm was like slower, because there were points where I was like either below the level. I'd done all the quests except the next ones, which were too many levels. You know what I mean? Like, they were the next level up, but I wasn't done yet, so it was like, there were a few points where I had to grind a little. But it's still super fun. You know, I'm playing my classic Lilith build, which is just all heals and shields all the time. Please no kill. That's another thing that I think they improved that a little in 2 and pre-sequel, is that a lot of enemies are very meaty in Borderlands 1. Like, they take fucking forever to shoot down. Like, what is it? Alpha Skags have the super armored front, and they're just like, you do fucking nothing!
Well, that's why you have to shoot them in the mouth when they open it.
Yeah, they don't do that a lot, though. And a lot of the time they find that they try to do it when I'm busy reloading.
They know. Honestly, I don't know when the fucking game, because I'm looking at all my games and none of them stick out as all like, yes, this was my first PS4 game. Just a reminder for everyone, Lucky's memory is shit.
Okay, hold up.
But back on the subject of Borderlands 3. But so when they say apparently so they are doing a console release on the same fucking day. But for the PC release, it's not going to be released on Steam. It's going to be released on the Epic Games. I've gone on to say that the Steam release or like other platform PC peripherals won't be like until 6 months later. Like I think they said it was going to be like April 13th.
Yeah, it's a 6-month exclusivity, not a longer period of like a year for some stuff for Epic.
Yeah.
So apparently Epic didn't give Gearbox or 2K enough money to do it for longer. And I believe Randy Pitchford said that was a 2K, that was a publisher decision, which makes sense because they would obviously decide what platforms it's published on.
Mm-hmm. I said people like to throw shots at Randy Pitchford, but he's just one dude. Actually, I wonder. Let's see Randy Pitchford legal troubles. How is that doing right now?
Another thing to think about is I have heard rumors and reports. Well, I mean, obviously, if it's got an Xbox version and it's also on PC, it'll be semi-cross compatible. So there are definitely some questions of like how fully cross-platform it'll be. I know Sony's not playing real nice on cross-platform yet. We'll see though. Like we talked about this the other day, that they actually updated their refund policy finally on PlayStation Network. So like, who knows? Maybe Sony's had enough bad press and it's like, okay, we can. It doesn't really help them to be able to play with smaller console pools, but like people want it. So at some point you have to just be like, okay, we've got such a market share lead. We can build goodwill, but we'll see. Like I said, I think that's the strongest move though that Xbox has made as a contender, which is like, no, fuck it, just everything that's on a PC is also on an Xbox and vice versa, and you can crossplay and you can share play. If you buy it for Xbox, you own it on PC and vice versa and stuff like that.
All right, I can't play Conan right now, which is much suck.
Oh, that's terrible. We'll talk about Conan then.
I'm gonna have to talk about it. Yeah. As I said, I'm excited for Borderlands 3. I really am.
No, it looks sick.
It looks way sick. And I'm gonna shove a fucking knife in this USB port and do some wiggling. But as I said, I played like Borderlands 1, 2, Tales, and the pre-sequel all on PC. And I'm one of those guys, like, I do both console and PC gaming, but I have like my preference for which one. Like I prefer to do like, my RPGs and my like adventure action games and stuff. I like to do those on consoles, but like first person shooters, tactics, strategy, games like that, I like to do on PC because
now see, that's interesting because I actually, now I'm sure some players will get on me for this, but I actually prefer to play shooters on console. And some later years they've gotten better about able to use a controller. But like, despite the fact that's how I got started, these days if I do mouse and keyboard with like first person, my fingers just don't like being in that shape, and it sucks because I'm not comfortable doing that. Lucky, are you fiddling with your USB port with a knife right now?
Yeah.
Okay. For the audience, in case that sound didn't get canceled out, that's what I'm sure that slight jiggling noise in the background is.
You think I'm not...
Lucky's not talking and I hear, like, faint wiggly noises. I'm sure that's what's going on.
Lucky is a man who, I'm a mission, because I like playing my fucking PS4, right?
It's a great console.
Mm-hmm. But, shit, where'd I... So, I'm gonna get Borderlands 3 at some point, in some fashion. I just don't know fashion that's gonna be. Are you working yet? Nope. So, and this has me, some people are already talking about, like, what they're gonna play, like, I'm really interested in that Beastmaster class. I think Ron says he's gonna, like, maybe play the gun jock, that's what it was called. Or he's gonna be old operator dude, he doesn't know yet. Because as I said, the classes look real sick, and, oh god.
Gesundheit.
Oh, I barely got that out. I mean, I barely had a warning on that one. It was just that moment of, here it comes!
Hey, it happens sometimes.
It does. I wonder if something got in my fucking cord. Oh god, I need a swab. Damn it!
A vital component to all electronics, cotton swab and rubbing alcohol.
Mm-hmm. This has tiny screws. I need to... If I take off the case, I wonder if I can actually get to the port easier. Oh, god damn it.
Take off the case, let me double check. Mine's a little cruddy, I need to clean out some of these, but I think, yeah, I guess they're all normal screws.
It looks like it just uses standard screws, like just really, really small.
Which is really
screws.
interesting because the actual, as noted, the actual PS4 has like security screws in it, or the PS3 actually did. I think the PS4 probably does too. Like I don't know.
My PS4 controller is a little beat up. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, like the interior parts of the grips are actually bent in a little because I have squeezed so hard that I bent it.
Yeah, they definitely moved to like a lighter plastic with the DualShock 4.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to pop this case and do a little bit of internal inspection.
Hey, that happens sometimes.
I always love how people get a little wide-eyed. It's like, yeah, just take it apart and clean it. And people are like, you can do that? I'm like, yeah, it's called a screwdriver.
Yeah, they exist for a reason. Like, if they really wanted to keep you out, like I said, there'd be hex bolts or security screws or something in here. Like, they have tamper-proof screws.
Yeah, I think I have a screwdriver small enough for this. I don't want to use an actual knife, otherwise I'll strip the screws and then I'll never get it fucking off. But, my monster is already empty. I am fucking shook.
When the fuck did that happen? I don't think I've heard you drinking the monster.
I know, exactly! Like, I opened it, like, right before we started, recording, and I almost immediately went into, like, fiddling with Conan and messing with my controller, so where the fuck my monster went, I have no goddamn idea. Wait. Unless this was an already empty can, and one of these other cans are the actual monster. I have to now go inspect every single fucking can in my room.
CSI Monster. God, I can't wait till I get my fucking 4th level slot. Empty can. Dear Borderlands, give me 4 weapon slots, please. I cannot in good conscience put down this exploding revolver, even though it only holds 2 bullets. But I also can't put down my sniper rifle to equip an SMG, because Lilith really wants something with firepower and elemental.
No, I just fucking drank it. Good job, me. So, let's see here. What else do I want to talk about?
Well, we never really deep dove on like how you feel about exclusivity and stuff. Like, just you were talking that you've always played it on PC.
And so, I was kind of expecting, I was going to do the same damn thing. I don't know if I would have got Dame 1, but I might have. But the fact that I have to go through, like, another in-game launcher that isn't actually going to keep it exclusive, which is just being there to drive up their own, system? I don't know, it rankles with me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't get, too mad about it, because this is how business works,
Right,
people
and,
money...
some people have argued it's a good thing that Steam has competition, because otherwise Steam, would just be like, well, we're Steam, fucking deal with it. Yeah. Because I think, they've actually finally started implementing some features that the Epic Games front had that, Steam didn't have. That said, I feel like it's a really weird thing that some people are like, oh yeah, and Steam just lets whatever trash games on it they are. Epic is like, oh, we won't allow dumb, bad, or problematic games. And Steam's just like, fucking whatever, dude. Yeah, listen, you want to buy Japanese Tiddy games on Steam? We don't care.
Yeah, and
it took Steam a long time to get to that point, and I'm like, no, seriously, get the fuck over it.
Like, personally, I like buying, Japanese Tiddy games. Like when fucking, Honey Pop came out, I was like, yes. And Steam was all like, it's like, yeah, we can't actually let you buy the uncensored version, but if you happen to, get a patch and put it in there, we're not really gonna fucking care.
Nope, not a problem. That's you. That's mods. We love mods. We're Steam.
Yeah, we're Steam. And, Steam has been here, basically my entire, cognizant gaming life. Ever since I started PC gaming.
When the fuck did I pick up Steam? I don't know. It was probably Ron's fault, but I picked up Steam.
Steam. Let me see here. Yeah, its initial release date was 2003. Like, I was still in high school at that point.
Yeah, it was a thing that came with Half-Life.
Yep.
So
it's a Valve fucking program. Oh my god, that thing's like, so this thing's like fucking 12 years old, 12, 13 years old. And it's been there like the entire fucking time. So it's like, it's something I'm used to. I have a fuck ton of games on it. Let me pull up my library. A lot of them are, dumb games I'm probably never, ever gonna play.
Yeah, I have a lot of games that aren't installed right now.
Yeah, no, I have like 391 games on my Steam.
So, dear Steam library, can I sort this by anything at all? Can you help me out here, Steam? No, probably not.
By the way, I have 7 games in my fucking favorites, and they are Nier, Starbound, Stardew Valley, Terraria, Undertale, VA11 Hall A, Valhalla, Cyberpunk Bartender Action, and Warframe. But yeah, I have a fuck ton of games, and once in a while I'm all like, I'm gonna go play something. And I have a bunch of weird shit in here. I have Goat Simulator, I have Game Dev Tycoon, I have Mad Max, Bully, the first 2 Witchers, Torchlight 2. Like, I have a full fucking run of gamut. I bought fucking Necopara's Volume 0 through 3, and that is on my Steam.
So, I've been a member of Steam since June 24th, 2011.
Actually, let me check my profile.
That's in your profile, or your activity or something, whatever thing it counts as. Groups content.
Let's see here. Steamy.
It's my friend activity.
Lucky Bray.
It's not helpful.
Why the fuck did I used to call myself Rey Mysterio on Steam?
Dunno.
I have questions for past me.
Oh yeah, that sounds like me. I'm looking at my my games records. So I've got Terraria 175 hours. XCOM Enemy Unknown 39 hours on record. That's probably wrong, by the way, because Steam had auto updates for certain mod features, and I played a lot of modded XCOM, so that's probably more than that. Civilization 5, 33 hours on record. Accurate. Game Dev Tycoon, 31 hours. Kerbal Space Program, 30 hours. And then it starts going down below that. But I got a decent chunk of some other stuff.
It's actually not saying how long I've been on. What the fuck?
I don't know. It's in one of your things. Let's see.
I'm trying to find it
recently played. Yeah, I can't like sort my games by like.
Oh, here it is. Years of service. Member since September 8th, 2012. This is in one of my badges. That's handy. Yeah, like Humble Bundle and like all that stuff. Fucking. Actually, let me check Warframe.
And,
I know Warframe.
And let's be real. Let's be real. Before Steam, PC gaming kind of sucked a little bit because you had to buy CDs. And I actually had this problem.
Multiple CDs sometimes.
Multiple CDs. I had this problem with KOTOR. I couldn't play KOTOR for the longest time because I bought it in a fucking box on 4 CDs and one of the discs was bad. I had to pirate the game I bought just so I could get a digital version of the installer because a disc was bad. And like I was like, I don't know, like 10, 12, something in there. And I'm like, when you're a kid, you can't fucking deal with like real life stuff, like get a fucking refund or whatever. Or, explain, like, you're not equipped to deal with people in that way to, like, fight about it. And even now, I don't know if I'd really raise a big stink. But now, like, you can just buy KOTOR on Steam and download and install it, and it's still really buggy because the game's kind of bad, like, programming-wise, but, like, you don't have to fuck around with discs, you don't have to buy a giant box, you don't have to, it's got automatic patching and stuff, so you don't have to deal with weird updates,
By the way, Warframe, which I know for a fact is the game I have spent most hours on, is at 1,411 hours.
It's a lot of hours.
I think Payday 2 is probably going to be my second one. Because I played a lot of that with my friends. I'm curious now. Hang on, let's see here. Payday 2. Oh, that one has 385 hours.
Nuts. Okay, so that was...
Maybe you're trying to say something, you're breaking up, so I have no fucking...
No, I was just commenting and stuff. The audience heard it. It was no big deal. But yeah, so, That's Steam, and like, I don't know, like obviously there's some stuff that's like everybody's like, oh man, exclusivity sucks. We've all, like, actually it's funny. I think I've seen that comic strip somewhere that people were like, in the past PCs were like, oh yeah, you console plebs fight about your exclusive releases and stuff on your different systems because that used to be a big deal. It still is a little bit of a big deal, but not as much, I think. Right, like.
A lot of things are going cross-platform releases.
They are, and there's details like it's been supposedly leaked by Best Buy that Persona 5 is coming to the Switch, for instance. Mm-hmm. That's Persona 5 S, which is an announcement coming, which is different than R. I was a little confused when that first came out, so I don't know what that means. Like, are they going to be two different, like, is S going to be the Switch version, and then R is going to be, we're doing an enhanced, version for, like, the previous consoles? Or maybe just on PS4 and not PS3? I don't know. We'll see when they announce later this month. But, like, that's a thing that I think is definitely happening. Like, some games that were exclusive or more remote are coming back on stuff. Things that were exclusive to old handhelds are getting, like, remastered and brought to, like, home consoles and stuff, and sometimes they get PC ports. And really, since this current generation of consoles moved to, everything's just a specialized PC, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all the parts and software are just specialized computer software, as opposed to, like, the PS3 era, where shit was on, like, unique hardware that was really powerful, at least for the PS3, but also really hard to program for. But, like, it's a lot easier to do ports and control and stuff and not be shitty and have to rebuild your architecture. That's a thing that used to happen a lot with some PC stuff.
I'm playing this fucking Conan Exiles, which is totally a port from the PC. Like, there's even some parts where they fucking still use the term left mouse button and right mouse button. I'm just like,
that I think might just be like a shifty porting option. Like, you can still, like, half-ass a port, and honestly, a survival, even having played a decent chunk of Minecraft on console, I've also played a chunk of it on PC, and, like, I just mentioned how much fucking Terraria I played. Like, a lot of those games are just better with PC because you have a keyboard, and with keyboards you can have way fucking more hotkeys and, like, control.
God damn this radial menu. I fucking hate it.
The radial menu sucks ass. And also, I think I can manually adjust the controls, so I might go into my fucking controls, because, like, I want R2 to be the go do stuff button, not the shift fucking menu screens button. But yeah, so that's a thing we deal with. But I don't know, the software, at least, I think, is fine. It's just it's a control thing, and some games still use simple enough controls that you can port pretty easy. Like, fundamentally, you can put most FPS controls on a controller map. Mm-hmm. And stuff. But okay, hold on, I'm just in my chair. I'm either gonna need to stop playing or completely adjust my posture, because I'm starting to, like, hurt my back. Half hunched. Okay, that's better. I can't interact with my PC at all now, but I'm comfortably sitting and playing Borderlands. But yeah, I think just now that the software is the same, that the only limitations are, like, do you have enough fucking buttons we can use? And it's weird that certain games need more buttons, right? But they do. Like,
yeah.
You mentioned you like to play, like, strategy and tactics. A lot of those games usually do, and like, turn-based builders, like 4X games, let's have a lot of buttons for a lot of different menus. And dedicated hotkeys are, like, actually useful for that sort of thing. But at the same time, there is something to be said for, like, the artist of simplicity. Can you actually put your game into, like, let's see, 4 face buttons, 4 D-pad directions, 2 sticks, 2 stick buttons, and 4 shoulder buttons, like, and the touchpad and the options menu, I guess, on the PS4. But, like, if you can actually, minimalistically build your controls to do that, that's pretty cool. But there are just some games, like I said, where it just doesn't work. And Conan is at the barely functional, just because I think they've decided how to do some stuff weird.
Yeah. Which is sad, because, like, I really, really like Conan.
Oh, like, the game is great. It's just, like I said,
the controls, like, oh my god.
Gathering stuff, like, normal world controls walking around, those are perfectly fine. Those all work. I mean, crouch being triangle is a little weird, but that's just, I think, the button they had left over. It's the menus that are kind of a pain in the ass, because, like, I feel like none of the buttons to do stuff are the buttons I want to do that thing. You know?
I don't know. Let's see here.
So, like, if you're in the menu, to put stuff in your radial, you have to open in your inventory, open your radial, move stuff around, and confirm. You can't suck stuff out of your radial menu while you're in your inventory menu. You have to be in a different menu. And then let's see. So, like, Square is use if you can use it. Triangle is drop. Those both make sense. But, like, you have to open up an extra menu with R1, and then you can only split items. You can't, like... If there's a way to, like, just get one item out, I haven't figured out how to do that.
There
like,
is,
I feel like on a PC,
like
that would be, like,
finicky.
right-click instead of left-click.
Do it in, like, you can only do it, like, in certain containers, or you can only do it from, like, your container to another container. It's like, there's a bunch of, like, seemingly, like, super specific reasons, as circumstances to do it. And it's not bad enough that makes me want to quit the game, because...
it just means you spend an extra 5 minutes doing everything, because you're like, fuck, I fucked up my button combo. I gotta get in the menu.
And, you know, I'm kind of okay with that, because, Lucky loves fucking building bases. I go hog wild. I
built my second floor today. Oh, I should mention, you were right. I went into server settings, made myself admin, turned everything way the fuck up. Just because I was like, especially after hanging out in your server, and we'll probably tell some stories of that later, but just after seeing all the cool stuff that you built and just like hanging out, I'm like, God, you really need a fuck ton of resources. Like, I was like, I still need to build my blacksmith table. How much iron do I need and bricks? I'm like, fuck, that takes forever, dude. Like, no. And so
this is Conan is definitely a game that makes you take your time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, cause it's super like how do I want to say this? It's like it's not forgiving, not in combat, but for like resources, it's hella fucking forgiving. Like the resource modes just will respawn.
Yeah, so I assume everybody in our audience, especially the tiny baby children one, have played Minecraft. So, basically, for Conan's resource builds, imagine if you had Minecraft, but trees grow on their own back. Like, you don't even have to replant them with saplings. Stone grows itself back, and iron grows itself back. And basically, all those resources, they just grow back. Enemies, helpful mobs that you want to kill, spawn in the same place, like, every time.
Yeah. Like, I have a joke gator. I call him Jimmy the training gator, because he always spawns in a fucking tree and can't move.
And he spawns very close by to where we both built our houses, which we discovered we literally built our homes on the exact same, like, beachfront.
It's an amazing location.
Yeah, there's a cliff behind you, especially now that I've modded, so I use minimal stamina. I can climb that cliff and get feathers finally. That's the one thing I will say that this doesn't matter if it's a port or not. Conan is bad about letting you know when and where you can do stuff. Like, there's one thing to be said to, like, they want you to explore this giant map, and there's another thing to be said to be, like, you need feathers to make flint arrows. And I'm like, where the fuck even would I get feathers? Like, climb the cliffs behind your house and mine bird's nest, and you'll get a shitload of feathers. But how would I even think why to do that? Why would I think that that's
like,
there?
Literally, I find out everything because I literally go roaring off into the fucking wild and discover shit. What I think is kind of the point. But at the same time, I had trouble, like, figuring out basic ass shit. Like, to cook in game, like, it says, just push the play button. I don't know about you, in my game, I can't push the play button.
Yeah, you can't actually push it. You have to hit L2 to turn it to go mode.
I don't know. I don't think I'm doing an Aaron Hansen here, but I don't remember anything anywhere in game saying, well, that's the thing.
L2. There's no fucking tutorial in the game. Like,
no.
The closest you get is the journey system, which just tells you to do a thing, not how you do it. Like, I'm stuck on get ahead in both servers now. Which is just RNG, I think. Maybe I can try and stab them post-death, because you can do some dismemberment, but I don't think that works. But, like...
Yeah, no, get ahead. No, that's how I've gotten, that's how I got, like, 3 crockheads. I kept, skinning Jimmy, and I just got one randomly as a rare drop.
Yeah, you just gotta RNG it. Force it.
Yeah.
But certain crafting stations will tell you what you need to put in, and then how it works. But they won't identify that thing, they'll just show you a picture. So I was like... I had to ask Lucky, Lucky, what's that third thing you put in the compost heap? And you're like, it's bone meal. I'm like, bone meal, right. How the fuck would I know that?
Yeah, it doesn't tell you how to make bone meals, but I'm just like, I'm lucky I have a grinder. I'm all like, bones.
Yeah, because the grinder tells you, and that was pretty easy. Also, super shout out, thank you for telling me that I can use teeth for bone meal. Because now I'm like, fuck, I have a use for teeth. There's literally, other than making certain costumes, there's literally no other reason to use teeth. Which is another thing that's a little bit bad about the game, like... Some items as ingredient use is so narrow, and then some are so ubiquitous. Like, you need plant fiber for fucking everything.
Everywhere.
Yeah, you need either standalone or you need to turn it into fuck tons of twine. And you can get twine other stuff, but I'm not in a jungle, so plant fiber it is.
Oh, actually, no, believe it or not, I actually found, there is actually a pretty good source of vines.
Sick.
Like, across the river.
You don't need to leave
the
not Nile for anything. There's a couple of places where you can get some iron spawns.
Yeah, but on the way to Lookout Point, that whole area full of the shellbacks that have vines on them will actually drop vines when you use an axe on them. See, again, this is me randomly exploring shit, being like, hey, what does this do? And I enjoy that. I like that kind of reward, but at the same time, I wish they actually would, like, if it showed me, like, it shows a picture, it doesn't tell me what that is. Like, because it took me fucking forever. I'm not gonna lie.
That's the thing that's, maybe in the PC version, there's, like, a tooltip if you hover your mouse over it. In that case, just give me a fucking... I've got 2 analog sticks. Just give me a fucking full-blown cursor in the menus. Like, I know you can do that.
In the wiki, especially for like survival games, I hate using the wiki. I like being able to figure shit out on my own.
The wiki's almost cheating. Like, I figured out that Lookout Point was an iron deposit because I looked up a map because I'm like, okay, where's the closest thing to iron? And then I'm like, oh, there's a fuckload of iron here. That works. Okay, I've learned a route.
I figured that out because I was exploring the river because I wanted to go in the jungle, and I found it. And, like, now, like, actually, I found actually a better place to get iron as long as you can kill a fuck ton of spiders because there's iron and brimstone, which is what you need to make fucking steel. But to make steel, you have to combine fucking steel fire with iron bars, and, I had to figure this out.
Yeah, there's a lot of dumb steps and a lot of stuff.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, so here's the thing. I think we are technically playing the game not the way the designers intended it. I am almost certain they intended this game to be played on public servers with shitloads of people. And, like, we should be teaming up on, like, a whole server thing, not just, like, a co-op, but, like, an actual hosted server with shitloads of people we have to fight or team up with. And, like, because we ran into this problem when we played co-op with you. We also got one of our community members, Axe, in. He was super excited to be there, but we discovered when you tried to go on a big iron run that we can only be a certain distance from you, and if you move away from us, we are just slurped back towards you.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I have replenished my iron stocks after you fucks literally used it all to make your shit. I was like, damn it! But,
hey, I replenished some of it because there's a tiny iron deposit on Narrow Neck Span, but it's only like a couple rocks. But I put some back in. I solved your height problem, though.
Oh god, I told Axis, but you might not have read this. Basically, when on my server now, your bodies are still there. You're just laying on the ground unconscious.
That's a little creepy.
Your character is passed out in your room, and Axe was taking his dear sweet time on getting out. So it's like, huh?
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I went in my room because I built a chest, and I actually wanted to build some personal stuff. But
I had fun on the server. I still want to do the co-op experience, but I think this is kind of one of the reasons why I decided to increase like the resources I get, increase the like.
Oh yeah, no, by the way, I dialed EXP gain and resource gain all the way the fuck up when I got back to my home server because I was just like I said, there's so much fucking stone and shit I need. Now it's like punch a single rock, get 100 stone. I'm like, yes, fucking finally. Like this.
See, like I'm not that good. I'm not that like that high because this is what I've noticed. The game is trying to encourage you to explore and get out there and find stuff. So by the time like you have like gotten a certain level, you should have found a resource like that will give you that. Because if you like just like go like whole hog an experience to get a whole bunch of levels, you need a whole bunch of shit. You're like, I've only been here for like half an hour. I don't know where the fuck anything is. How am I gonna build this shit?
Yeah, and I'm glad I played it. I even played it more slowball than you did the first, because I, like, other than turn on server nudity, I didn't do fucking anything with my home server right away.
Oh, no, I did too. Like, the map we're on right now, the one I have, that's my third attempt.
Oh, interesting.
The first time,
okay.
Yeah. Like, the first time, like, I just went pro bono, and I figured shit out, I'm like, and I was like, I fucking hate dropping items on death. Like, I don't want to deal with this. So the second time...
Yeah, that's... I think especially, like, okay, maybe for a server with, like, multiplayer PvP, you're like, yeah, looting, raiding. Yeah. You know, if you want to just be a fucking server parasite and farm other people. Like, sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, but, like, on my own, it's like, okay, guys, here's the thing. If I die and drop all my stuff, that usually means, like, all my equipment and goods. if I am now sans that, how the fuck am I supposed to get back to my body in the first place?
Right, and that's I think what the point is that the game's like, well, then don't do dangerous stuff. Like they want you to Batman. They want you to over prepare.
Yeah, trust me.
But at the same time, the game isn't really good at teaching you what the fuck preparation is. Because, like, you told me something I didn't know. Like, I'm like, aloe leaves are a thing. Clearly, they are useful for something later. And I bet it's medicinal because aloe. I didn't know that if you can build the Fireball Cauldron and you get into your alchemy shit. By the way, I found a new thing that I can specialize in as your future rangeman, Amazon. Did you know you can get engineer as a feat and build siege engines? So,
no.
I'm gonna take that later. Build you a giant trebuchet.
Yeah, I don't know what I like.
I'm pretty sure it's for PvP stuff, but I bet there are also like enemy encampments that might be a little big.
I mean, if we just want to like take a whole bunch of materials and just build a siege engine out in the middle of the fucking desert, why the fuck not? There's just be a bunch
and
of
eventually when you upgrade, like, you can build a giant fuck-off tower, I can put ballista in them. I wonder if you can man them with thralls.
Probably not the siege engines.
Maybe, we'll have to see. We'll have to build some and experiment. We did a lot of experimenting, like the create a home fucking journey step, which is apparently just build random walls, which I got by building multiple attempts to just build a box. And ironically, it worked exactly when I built a complete 4 walls of foundation floor and a ceiling box.
Yeah, apparently it's like you just have to place like 10 sandstone items. And so we had like, that's another one of those things I had to like, I didn't use a wiki because the wiki wouldn't help, but I had to use a Google. I was like, what do they fucking mean? And it's weird too, because sometimes like the journey things are really on fucking point. Like, basically, to explain the journey is basically a bunch of just objectives you do that gives you experience.
Yeah, it's, what's the best way to say, it's a guided experience is the journey. It's like, it's not quite a tutorial, but it guides you through the game, and they're devoted into chapters. Yeah, X says it's also like, it's got like milestones within the narrative too, because it's got the story stuff in there.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like,
Axe,
there's a lot of flow to like go through it. So there's early stuff like slay, just kill something is a milestone in your journey. Drink water, build a water skin, you dumb fuck. Build tools, build an iron tool, right? So like, when you unlock the steps, you're like, oh, you know, that's something I should do. Like, build a bedroll, rest in a bed. Oh, duh, I need to set my spawn point, right? Like, it walks you through that. Now, luckily, this is a good thing. You can get EXP for a journey step at any point. So, like, I opened up Lucky's cabinet to the Fireball Cauldron to get some aloe extracts out because those heal you. Those just give you regeneration. And it's like, good. Obtain a potion. And I'm like, yes. And some of them are fucking hard or nonsensical. Like, get ahead right now is one of them. Find somebody to talk to. Like, that's a really early one. Find somebody to talk to and, like, how in the fuck? Because I think you have to either find the NPC city or find, like, a wandering trainer, and, like...
Well, as I said, like, I mentioned this yesterday, like, right by the Sentinels, like, on the South Bank, there's, a dude named Arcos the Wanderer. You can talk to him. He gives you polite clap. But again, I didn't find that out until, like, maybe a couple hours before I played with you guys yesterday. I've been playing this game for, like, a fucking week. Because I see you guys... You've
been playing the game pretty hardcore. And I've played a decent amount too. It's just like I said, Lucky went through some revisions to find out what his frustration point was. I've been much more mellow about it, except for, like I said, like at some point I was like, okay, I don't want to wander through the desert for fucking forever to find iron. Where's a good source of iron nearby? And it's like, yeah, here, figure it out. And I'm like, that's literally, I don't want to know where anything else is. I don't want to know where like dungeons are or other shit. I just want to be like, where's the closest source of iron to me? Because I don't want to. I saw that there are a bunch in general in the jungle, and I'm like, I don't want to hike to the fucking jungle just to get my iron because I feel like I'm still a baby bitch to your stuff.
Oh god, no! Like I have like horror stories of going through that fucking jungle.
Oh yeah, no, you've told me that you do something that I absolutely refuse to do, which is go out at night.
Well, see, now here's the thing: in my second playthrough, I started fiddling with the server settings. I set it so that the night was fucking longer.
Dumb idea. Why would you do that?
It's
pitch fucking dark in Conan Exiles land.
It's great, too, but the problem is the jungle is overcast and raining, so it's even fucking darker.
Oh, joy.
So, I'm, like, wandering around with a fucking, torch, And I don't know about you, but when you just have a torch in your hand and you have your fist up, like, you have your fist up like, you're about to fucking punch someone. But to me, it looks like I am walking fucking scared shitless, which is kind of true. Because when I'm walking in the dark in the jungle, I can't see around me. Like, this light isn't, so I can see shit. It's so that I don't walk straight into a fucking wall that, like, is in, like, 3 feet in front of me, because that's as far as I can fucking see. But this also means that I don't realize it when I'm about to, like, walk up on a giant black anaconda who is real interested in eating my face all of a sudden. Oh my god, that was, like, literally one of the most terrifying moments in the game for me. I was like, so yeah, they got that savage aspect down, and I love the experience. Like, honestly, like, as much as I like know it's a dumb idea, I kind of like going out at night, especially like if I'm doing like a resource run.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing, like I don't mind returning at night or setting out when it's about to be light. It's just like you said, it's really fucking hard to see. The game is very dark at night. Like, realistically, it's there's no, other than there are lots of ominous campfires and torch totem things out in the wilderness that you can see. Like, there's actually, fucking nothing. And hey, guess what? If you don't build your own light source, your house is also fucking dark. I think we both had to build a shitload of torches and just slap them on our buildings, because I'm tired of not being able to see my fucking house when I go 5 feet away. And this is another complaint we both have. NPCs spawn in camps with like 2 bedrolls you can't take and a bonfire you can't interact with. Their bonfires are just on all the time. When you build a bonfire, it's a cooking station and you have to keep it constantly fueled. And I'm like, this sucks. This sucks a lot, because I just want a giant fucking signal fire on my front lawn. Like, maybe that's what braziers are for. We'll see. I haven't gotten very.
They're pretty bright.
Making. Because that's another mechanic in the game. Is I joke that it's secret. We must all be D&D fighters because everything is feats. That's what they call the perk system.
I really enjoy the system. Actually, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun because it's divided into like 3 or it's divided into like 6 sections. But like the home page is here's all your basic shit that you need. Like, you need basic masonry so you can build a fucking floor and a wall. You need to make bedrolls. You need basic construction to build some basic crafting stations. Build a campfire, build tier 1 weapons and armor and tools and stuff. And then you can start moving through different menus, like you can get into deeper, deeper menus on stuff. You can look through different, like if you go to the weapons page, you can go like really deep down all the different weapons you can build, which there are lots. You can upgrade lots of levels. Some of them are cosmetic, some of them are not. On both servers, I have unlocked the ability to make a Stygian Khopesh, so I'm going to need to make myself a Khopesh sometime. Even though I'm going to use iron for that, that's another weird thing that's just about the Conan setting I'd have to learn is, like, why the fuck are we making steel and iron in the prehistoric times? Like, I know that Riddle of Steel was a big deal in the original Conan movie, and thus I assume in the books, and that's also an RPG setting that's vaguely Conan-inspired, Riddle of Steel. But, like, we're at least according to regular history, I think we're in the Stone Age or Bronze Age right now. Like, I'm actually quite surprised because I'm pretty sure that you can get copper and tin in surface deposits, and they melt at pretty low temperatures. I'm really surprised, like, the basic stuff isn't like, hey, gather 2 metals to mix together and make bronze.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, it's all iron and steel. It goes
like,
what the fuck? That said, I really shouldn't complain.
I'm glad, kind of glad they kept it simple. They ain't going into like weird ass like alloys and metals. It's like, no, you got your stone, you got your iron, steel.
Yeah.
I think you have, like, hardened steel, and then you got fucking star metal. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, rock is rock. Metals are pretty limited, Then
you got, your metal from the heavens. I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Dirt is, seeds are seeds for generic plants, and then if you find a specific plant, you can get those specific plant seeds. You can put them in your planters, etc., etc.
A ton of aloe.
Mm-hmm. Because it's useful. You can make it into regenerating items. Not instant healing, but regenerating, and it's great.
Yeah, like, aloe potions are your fucking healing potions. Like, I didn't, like, and again, that's something I found out, like, an hour or 2 before I played with everyone yesterday, so I'm constantly learning shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I'm saying, I'm okay with that, but at the same time, it's like, give me, like, a notebook? Something? Oh, this is the point I was gonna make about the journey. Like, I did a Barbarian's First Dungeon because of what the journey book said. Basically, it said, defeat the Abyssal Remnant. I'm like, what the fuck is the Abyssal Remnant? And there's like, oh yeah, some deep dark thing, like underground in the dredges. You can reach the dredges by going to the western end of the southern river. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. So like, oh shit, there's a fucking dungeon here. I'm gonna go in here and, be whispered at by a creepy sounding woman. I was like, I am intrigued. I was lied to, by the way. It was not a creepy woman. It was the exact opposite.
It was a friendly man?
No, it was a monstrosity. It was a monstrous cryptid.
Ah, I don't know if that's the exact opposite of a creepy woman.
Yeah, I know. Now that I think about it, it's like there's a lot of ways I can say that. But anyway, I'm going into this like. Funny enough, your first dungeon is a sewer. Like, isn't that like RPG as fuck?
Yeah, there's a lot of RPG tropes in Conan Exiles, and it's really fun. Like,
yeah,
that aspect of like, picking your build, getting your gear out, picking your feats and stuff. Like, that's fun. Getting your perks from leveling up your core stats because you've got a point buy system.
It's like, honestly, it's like super fucking solid. Like, but like one of my main issues, like immediately, was fucking combat. It's very Dark Souls. I would say it's
dodge. Your dodge is super helpful.
Oh,
and super friendly, forgiving.
But like I said, you have a limited bar. Dodging, you cannot dodge for days. You will run out, and then you can't do shit, and spiders will eat your face. This happens to me on several occasions. This is the main reason why I upped
fucking spiders.
This is the main reason why on my server I increased my damage and decreased the damage I took. Just because of these damn spiders. Like, humans are hard enough on their own, but like you start getting like one-on-one, things are pretty fucking alright. It's good to handle. It's like, it's one eye, but eye on the prize. But as soon as you add like 2 or 3 people, it's just like, man, these guys are really good at flanking, and they are really good at coming to hits together. Not to mention, like,
I've heard that the starting truncheon sucks, so like I can't wait till I can make blunted arrows and just shoot people to stun them from afar. But like, fighting just 2 NPCs out of a camp can be like really tricky because their hit stun is or at least the hit stun you inflict is very weak.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is one of the main reasons I use a fucking mace.
Dodging is super forgiving. Blocking is not. Like, there have been a lot of times where I'm trying to like hit the button to raise the thing to block, and it's like
nope.
My shield's just like, no, I'm not coming up right now. I mean, if you get your shield up, it's pretty effective, but like it doesn't seem like it's a very responsive system, even though that's a journey step.
And not to mention, like, there are just times when I swing my weapon and it just whiffs.
Yeah, your hitboxing is really weird.
Yeah.
It's really picky.
Like, combat is...
Now, we should point out that Conan Exiles was a early access game that was out in early access for a while, and so I'm sure still has some stuff to iron out, because
I said, it's like, I think it's like $39.99, and I look at this game, I'm like, yeah, this is a $39.99 game.
Yeah, this is, it's out of early access, it's out of, basically open beta period, but it's not quite, like, fully polished out to be like, yeah, this is a normal-ass, full-blown game. Because, I was super happy that Borderlands Game of the Year was only like $30. I'm like, oh, that's a perfect price. But yeah, like, Conan, it doesn't feel like it's quite at a full-blown, $60 AAA experience, especially not with Nudity Limited only partial on the PS4, but that's just Sony really doesn't want to catch any flack these days.
Yeah.
I think. Like, some people have kind of complained about Sony's kind of sensory nature. Like, they've put pressure on some developers to be like, hey, could you fucking not? Which I can kind of see why, because we talked about this with other stuff, that like they're the big daddy publisher and system developer right now. I can see why they wouldn't want to do anything that, like, because we unfortunately live in a very cannibalistic, aggressive culture, which is like ready to turn on somebody and throw them under the bus at the drop of a hat. So, like, I could totally see where Sony is like, no, do not provoke people to, like, turn this into a giant PR kerfuffle and fuck up all our market share.
Yep.
I don't like that they put these kind of pressures, but at the same time, I can't say I don't understand why they do that, because, like I said, it's just... They're in the delicate position where they're at the top of the market right now, and, like I said, it's not hard for somebody to, like, turn that on you and take you down just because you're the biggest and baddest right now. You know what I mean?
It's like, yes, you say this, but on a completely related note, you did this! And this makes you a bad person! It's like, what? No.
You did something 10 years ago? Here, let me use it against you.
Yeah, I really hate it when people do that. But this is actually I'm gonna segue into the title for this. What's up? The Agency of Tiddy. So, in Conan Exiles, in the PC version, you can just go full on fucking nude. But
full frontal.
Yeah.
And there's also a dong slider.
There is a dong slider. It is top keck. But on the PS4, you can only have partial, which just means basically, you know, tits out. And I hear this, and I'm all like, fuck yeah, tits out. Because, I'm also the guy who unashamedly put that titty slider all the way to max and be like, yes.
Who didn't?
But
now, for reference, by the way, I also made a female character, and yes, I put the boob slider all the way up. I also put the height and muscle definition sliders all the way up. Thank you very much.
My height is also maximum. I am a giant Amazon queen.
You're not quite as cut up as my character turned out to be. We noticed this, even though I am wearing armor that covers up my entire face, the boobs, obviously, most of the legs and stuff. It still has just enough midriff showing so you can see that my avatar's abs.
It's great, but like, and I put on partial nudity, but you know, like I still wear clothes like 100% of the fucking time. There's no point where I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna walk around with my tits out.
There was a brief time period before I developed armor making technology. I was like, I'm not gonna put on a fucking shirt. Are you crazy? But then once I got to armor, I was like, okay, I need protection. Armor up.
Yeah. So it's like, but the only reason like I want like the partial nudity is because that means it's always there. Like if I have to switch out,
and some NPCs who are lower tier and you know they'll spawn without armor, and so they'll be topless exiles in the desert.
Yeah, like that's how I fucking started, like literally. But
BT Dubs, by the way, you start the game crucified.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not a goody two shoes comfy game.
Mm-hmm. So it's basically the fact of it's like I really don't care that if I'm showing titty or not. I just want the potential of titty to be there because it is an option in game. Like, and this is what I mean by the agency of titty. It's like, if I want to see titty, it's there. But if I don't want to, that's cool too. And that's one of those things I always have issues with, censorship. Especially here, where, for some odd reason, like, a lot of our, media laws are still kind of fucking conservative. But
and we should say that, like you said, it's not like, it's interesting that the censorship tech... I really need to take 5 and get a bottle of water, but I'm waiting for an opportunity to Lucky to rant for a long time, but that's not just yet. But like technically the quote unquote censorship makes the game more sexist because the only form of nudity is female topless. The core game is technically, you know, gender neutral because you can adjust. There's a slider for males and females, and if you put nudity onto full, they'll both be super fucking naked. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting that technically I think this version is more questionable and sexist, but at the same time it's also like, yeah, there's not dong just flopping out. And I'm like, whatever. I wouldn't care.
Yeah. Like if I made a male character, guess what? I'm gonna max that fucking dong slider.
But alright, yes, Lucky, I need you to ramble for a long fucking time while I go find a bottle of water because I'm dying.
Alright, well, Omega's dying. And I'm gonna keep talking about why I like Conan Exiles because so, like, it's a survival crafting game. You literally get to, like, build bases, and Lucky is all about base building. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I shocked Omega a little bit when, he's selling, and it's like, yeah, I just built this. Because it's, like, multiple buildings, like, they're connected, I have second floors, I built towers, I put archers on top of the towers. It's like, yeah, this is my room. I'll wait till Omega gets back, but yeah, this is my bedroom, it has a double bed and a bunch of furs, this is where I have my, harem orgies. We go out into the common room. I have some tables with some plates and bowls set up. There's the cook and my other like kitchen implements. We go out and there's my fucking altar to my god. It's all like my goddess. It's like all this crazy stuff that's all around, and I'm like, yes, this is good. And the way that the building interface is like, I'm pretty sure it's like, you know, even better on PC, but even on the PS4, it's pretty fucking solid and quick. So I'm just like literally throwing up buildings and stuff. Then I have to go fuck off for 2 hours to gather like 800 fucking stone. Come back, throw it all down, rinse, repeat. You know, get ambushed by humans like waving sticks and stones. And I'm like, well, fuck you guys, I'm gonna kill you instead. That is something that I kind of don't like, is that there is a lot of hostile humans out there. It's like, can't we get along like a little bit? Especially when they say shit, put down your weapons, stranger. and they're coming like swinging at me with an axe. I'm all like, no, this is like the opposite of like this is the opposite of situation where I want to put down my weapon. Like, I don't know, like maybe there might be some other thing or something I can do, but it's just like, God. But like super fun. Like for like the first like solid 30 hours of my 30 hours, I was just base building. Like I didn't even know that there was actual dungeons in the game until I got the journey step and I did it. Omega, you back yet?
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, so funny story. It was great. When Omega spawned in my game, I was in my bedroom at the time, and he just like spawned in my bedroom. I'm like, this is kind of awkward, dude. And he was just like,
yeah, and it takes me a second to get there because I was topless at the time, obviously.
It's just like,
Yeah, so we learned that if you're doing co-op, you spawn on the other player.
Yeah, and this is actually kind of sad because, like, the initial starting point of the game, I actually think is like really good, especially since you can get one of your journey steps done like right there, which is find intelligent life. There's literally like these like pedestals, like these giant stone monoliths that will like speak words to you and glow and shit. And
also, there's a dead guy with a journal. I think that's how I accomplished that in my home server. But that's like there's a written word, and that counts.
Yeah, and he also gives you a water skin, which is super helpful. And then you just walk through like that desert. You start picking up sticks and stones and leaves and fashioning clothes, all that crazy stuff. You like learn about climbing and stuff. And there's no enemies in the initial area, so you have like a little bit of breathing room. Because once you get down to the Nile or the not Nile, as it were. Like, shit goes up in the air. There are fucking cannibals and exiles and gators. Oh my god, there are gators.
Yeah, and more importantly, right by the little, like, dip that leads down to the river area, there's, like, that's a spawn point for whatever the fuck those brown mutant men are.
Yeah.
Who sometimes explode. They have two versions. One of them explodes, and one of them just tries to punch you to death. But they always spawn, like, right there.
Yeah, and so, like, having, like, my co-op to spawn with me and not, like, experience any of that initial shit.
Yeah, there was a lot of, like, floundering around being like, okay, hold on, I'm, like, got no levels, I'm in the middle of your base, I need to do some journey steps.
Yeah, no, because you have to create a new character on the server, which I think was kind of dumb. I'm too used to fucking Terraria, where you have your character and server separate.
Yeah, characters are stored differently.
Yeah, so I was a little sad about that. That means I can't take my character out and go other places, but guess it means just everyone has to hang out with me and my cool base. Just being cooler. But, yeah, so, like, after, like, initial starts, and here's, like, the one problem I do have with, like, games like this. There's no fast travel that I know of. I mean...
Yeah, I'm like, that's the thing that's, like, that's really fucking annoying.
Like, I do know that if you set up yourself as the admin, you get an ability called the admin teleport, but I don't want to use that. Like, I'm okay with, like, fudging, like...
Well, yeah, it's one thing to be like, okay, I'm going to use server commands to teleport to... The game has an automatic way for me to fucking walk all this distance, like, between, say, just return to my fucking bed. Nothing that matters for you because you've set it so you keep items on. So if you want to fast travel, there's a really easy way. It's called remove bracelet.
Yeah, but I don't want to like rely on death because I do like exploring.
Well, and also death has its, even if you don't lose your items, death like halves your HP and stuff, and I'm sure it has other effects that the game keeps track of. So it's not like always convenient, but if we were way up in the north of the map in the snow. And it was like, okay, we have to go all the way back to the south of the map. It would be like, listen, do we want to walk all that way, or do we want to just remove bracelet? Yeah. Though, I've, in multiplayer only, because I assume that it's not very well netcoded, for co-op. But, we've had a few errors, and I've had to remove bracelet just to force a respawn a few times.
Yeah. Oh, not to mention, dice are cursed. We do not use them.
Yeah, because there was one time Lucky made a die and he tried to roll it while sitting at a table. I tried to sit at the table opposite him, and
everything broke.
The game reset. I got a bugged trophy. I think I got the trophy for Go North.
Yeah.
And then I was stuck in a sitting pose until I killed myself.
It was nuts. So again, like, I really wish that I got this game, like, on PC, although then I probably couldn't play it with Omega. Because, like, I do enjoy, like, the fact that we can play it together. Like,
yeah, and also like we said this last night in chat. Also, it was quote unquote at least free on PS4. So like that lets you experience a lot of games you probably wouldn't have. Like, shit, someday I'm gonna go back and actually play Hitman Season Pass because it's a lot of fun. I just haven't had time. But it's there. It's on my machine. Like, and I don't know if I would have gone out of my way, as much fun as it was watching people play it. I don't know if I would have gone out of my way to buy it myself without free for PS Plus. You know? And Conan is the same. I definitely wouldn't have thought that the Conan game, other than the, like, oh, people get naked in there, like, I wouldn't have thought the game was worth anything until I actually played it and like, oh shit, this is exactly the type of game I like. Because you can build a house, you can build cosmetic items for no other reason than that you naturally want a table there. I actually cleared out the bottom house of my own table, my own house and of stuff because I built some crafting stations there. I'm like, let's put these on my new rooftop level that has like extra foundations and walls and a staircase up there. And maybe someday I'll dismantle the fences and turn it into an enclosed building. But if I don't, it's open air. But let me just put my carpenter table and my armorer's workbench up there and my new blacksmith table and stuff. Just because, like, I want space in my house to actually do stuff. And, like, put down a table maybe, or a rug, or display some shit.
I like decorating. Like, after I got, like, my buildings up, I'm like, alright, I need to actually put shit in here. And I said, they have, like, a robust selection, and it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, I hate this chair!
Yeah, you have chair troubles right now.
Yeah. Like, this chair is uncomfortable, my controller's broke, I'm tired as fuck, my monster can is empty, and I just ran out of meat and cheese. My life is fucking horrible right now.
Rip. Let's see, am I too... No, I don't sound too soft. I've adjusted my own personal posture once again, because I realize that I'm hunching forward a little bit. That's not what this chair is for. I have an office chair that leans back. It's for leaning the fuck back. And I can't really look at my computer at the same time, so like I've seen occasionally out of the corner of my eye that Axe has shot some stuff back and forth, like talking about the game and stuff, because obviously he was with us when we actually did co-op through some of that. But like at the same time, I'm also like I'm playing a game right now. I literally can't. And the only reason why I'm not playing Conan and I'm playing Borderlands instead is because, well, one, I want to play more Borderlands, but also like I don't think my brain could handle doing the show and trying to fucking figure out how to make stuff in Conan at the same time.
You see, if I could play right now, I'd just be making fucking iron runs and, iron and brimstone runs, because I found a cave with a fuck ton of spiders. And they have iron and brimstone. I'm all like, yeah, fuck yeah, I can make steel now. I can now stockpile steel, so when these fucks come over again and want to use all my shit, I'll be ready.
Well, maybe later we can do some iron and brimstone runs, but maybe not, because I feel like my voice is going to be super tired after this. Let's see, how long have we been going?
How long have we been going? God damn it.
I have to spin my chair all the way around dramatically. We're at only an hour 20, so not super long. But we have spent like literally an hour talking about Conan. Technically, Borderlands is in there sometimes too. We're going back and forth, but a lot of it's been Conan.
By the way, everyone, if you like tastefully lewd art, go follow Cute Sexy Robots on Twitter. They do some good shit.
Yes, I see their work posted a lot in our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
We post lots of stuff on Discord. You should join us. Join us, everyone.
Just their art technique is amazing.
Yeah, there's some artists who have a very specific, style of doing things that you can always recognize. Mm-hmm. And, like, they're really good.
I was thinking I was going to talk a lot, but for some odd reason, like, I don't know. I think I drank that monster, and I didn't actually drink it, and maybe, like, I have a brain sucker attached to my head that made me think I drank it, because I'm really fucking tired all of a sudden. Like,
you wore out? Well, I'll take over for a little bit while you figure out what's going on with your life. I'll pause.
Yeah, actually, you ran for a bit. I gotta go. I gotta step away from my mic real quick. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Okay. So let's see. I talked about Dark Souls stuff. I've been talking about Borderlands and just how it's generally fun. I'm making a lot of racket right now because I have to rotate around, so I'm actually looking at my computer. Let's see. Were there any really big topics to talk about that I wanted to otherwise? Well, not while Lucky's away from his mic for a second. I'll come back to one of those. But yeah, no, Borderlands Game of the Year is really good. I also, to follow up on a previous topic, which I probably shouldn't talk about away from Lucky, but I'll mention it really quick. I could tell the whole story that I alluded to in Let's Talk FGO, but I won't. That might get a little visceral, so I'll skip the whole thing. But I did actually get some snacks. I got my sweet and spicy trail mix, which contains hot and spicy peanuts, butter toffee peanuts, Cajun sesame sticks, toasted corn, honey sesame sticks, and almonds. Which I'm not really normally an almond guy, but whatever. They mixed in with some other stuff, so I got some of that. I've eaten some of that. I've eaten too much of it at some points, and that's made me a little ill, but I'm getting used to it now. I'm not really in any condition to rant either. I'm waiting for some allergy medicine and stuff to kick in because I'm getting a little herbal. I think it's getting overcast outside. It might be like a storm front rolling in. I dropped the cap to my water bottle. Hold on, audience. Vitally important that I recover the cap. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little tense. I think it's my weird posture. But let's see. I've also been playing a shitload of Conan. Like I said, I technically started it first. There's a huge conversation going on in Let's Take After You. I'm gonna mute the fuck out of that. But I know that we have a few game design points to talk about. I guess I should mention. I don't know if I actually mentioned it, but Shadowlands for L5R actually came out, the physical book. I'm waiting on the PDF so I can buy it. But it's super interesting and cool. Got some interesting ideas in it, some interesting schools. Actually got new gear, weapons, and armor, and a new pattern system, which are kind of neat. So that's super interesting. I wonder if that'll affect some stuff. I think L5R is definitely next on my to-run list after we do whatever we're doing with Mages of War. God knows when that'll happen, though. I literally don't know.
I keep saying, I want this Mages of War to go on forever. I want Wolfgang to just... I just want Wolfgang just to become immortal and survive. Mages 2020, there's Wolfgang. Booyah. But yeah, so L5 is definitely high on my list, but also high on my list, now that Lucky's back and he can actually have a tiny bit of back and forth on this, but recently I mentioned, I think it was last week, I don't know though, because time. Just, What time? You got that right at the end.
No, I just said time. It's like, imagine an imaginary, forward arrow time. That's how we feel about time. Just, it's a fucking thing.
Oh, yeah. Even more.
So I think it was last week I talked about how I was still playing FFTA 2 on my old-ass original launch DS. Back when you couldn't fucking buy them. I got one still, that holiday season. But, inspired by this because I can never not be working on a project, I decided to make another Genesys hack, because I fucking love Genesys. Well, mostly I love Star Wars, and I love the idea of Genesys, so... Lucky, have you looked at this lately? I know I linked it to you, but I don't know, have you looked at it in a hot second?
I haven't, actually.
Okay. Do you need me to link it to you again, or can you find it?
Please link it to me.
Okay. I'll put it in the secret tabletop room. Again. So I've been chipping away at this as, a very, very tactics advanced, maybe a little bit the two MMOs, 11 and 14. Not that I've directly played them, but I know concepts of them, and a lot of, this lighter, more Japanese take on Western fantasy,
Honestly, I really like the Japanese Western fantasy ideal.
Yeah, and well, I mean, it's kind of like how we take a lot of Japanese ideas and kind of, turn them back around, or... even, you mentioned The Matrix. That was heavily inspired by anime and Hong Kong action films, for instance, with a decent helping of, modern cyberpunk philosophy. But it, there's an interesting thing to be said trading back and forth. So I've built a kind of open-ended, I'll work on, the high-level setting details. But, I assume there's some different races, some different, which are called species by the game term. So there's some different species, there's going to be some different regions. There's going to be an excuse for adventurers. One of the skills is called knowledge dungeoneering, so there's going to be some dungeons. And, there'll be a reason for people to hit each other with large metal objects and stuff and do magic. And, I've thrown in some meisms in there. There's a whole dark magic system, which is the skill's called Eldritch, which is ooh, spooky dark powers. I reference the far stars and the old ones. I don't know what those mean yet, but they sound cool. And they use capital letters. But yeah, I worked through my species / archetypes. I worked through my job system. Well, it's part of the way. I wrote all the jobs I have so far. Certain jobs are hard locked to certain species in typical Final Fantasy tactics fashion. Some of them are pretty widespread in humans, who are called humane after the Old French and early English word for human.
And I just lost one of my PS4 screws. God fucking damn it.
God damn it, Lucky. Don't lose the screws. You need those.
Like, I'm trying to put, like, I didn't lose any, like, when I was taking them out. But as soon as I try to put one back in, just flies off on my fucking floor somewhere. So, as soon as I get these other 3 screws in, I'm going on the fucking floor, so...
Floor Lucky returns.
Yeah, I'll keep my headphones on, so if you hear me yelling, it's because I actually can't hear.
But, one thing so, careers in Genesys are mostly just skill collections, but I've put a little bit of a spin on it now, so there's going to be a system of, like, allowed species, there's going to be some starting gear, and also there's going to be a system I'm going to try and adopt. It's called Favored Talents, where, like, it's not quite the system of Star Wars where you have each job has full-blown talent trees, because that also, like, careers in Star Wars had multiple specializations, which gave talent trees, so this isn't quite that. This is mostly just, I think they're going to be discounted earlier to access talents if you are a certain job. Like, for instance, the duelist job will probably have a easier time accessing, say, the finesse talent, which lets you use agility instead of brawn for one-handed weapons. You know, a pretty typical RPGism. And they'll get like a handful of talents, but I haven't done the talent section to figure that out. Right now, I'm working through inventory stuff, which is...
Gearborn!
It's interesting and fun, but at the same time, it's also a lot of work, because eventually you have to write descriptions for all this stuff. And you have to, you know, double-check your ideas and make sure, so... That'll be something I'm sure that through editing with some people, like if I share this with the public, people can like work on and stuff. Mostly I'm just working on the tables and transcribing. A lot of this is based on Genesys' own fantasy source book called Realms of Terranoth. Not that anybody's ever going to play the Runebound setting, because nobody played the Rune Wars miniatures game or any of the other games that Fantasy Flight based that on, but whatever.
Whatever.
It's fairly generic fantasy, which I have animated the fuck out of. But
as I said, I'm biased because I love fucking anime, but
no.
That's is and always going to be my jam. Like, I have a hard time going back to fucking D&D now, because I'm just like, I want to be like fucking cool. I just don't want to be, I just don't want to be in a fucking square and hitting the thing in front of me.
Right. And Genesys is really good about not doing that, because it still uses the narrative dice system, so it might be like, okay, I'm gonna move into engaged range with this guy, and I'm gonna like hit him. I didn't really hit him really good, but I rolled some advantage. Can I like trip him a little? Maybe I can kick him into a table. What if I throw a table at him? You know. So that's really fun with those systems, and then also we've had a lot of fun with Thread. Like, either Star Wars or Genesys is a game I really want to get on mic, because just the way the dice are, especially with our core players like you and Marth and stuff, who have a lot of decent experience, like spending advantage and stuff back and forth. Like, we can get up to some fun shenanigans, you know. And actually, I think that'll be an entertaining listen sometime. So I don't know if this'll be the next game we run.
I know Marth has been wanting to play Star Wars, but I don't know.
Yeah, like I'm still waiting for that book to come out, because that's also another thing I'll put in, because they've announced a second Clone Wars source book. They've already got one coming, so like I want to run Clone Wars stuff. I can definitely make that super interesting and with Star Wars. But yeah, this is what I'm working on. The only thing about the working on the items list is eventually I got to write descriptions for all this shit that's going to take forever. But, you know, all you need is a good... I've heard that flow is kind of a buzzword, but at the same time, it's totally a thing. You can totally have flow when you're writing. Like, all you need is a good flow day. And, like, put on some music. You can write some shit. I just haven't had that day because I'm juggling lots of stuff. But, like, I came up with all the species, and they have full descriptions and stuff. I started with like a weird elemental thing, so humans are baseline, they're normal humans, and then there's like a race for fire, a race for earth, kind of, a race for air, race for water, and then it was like, okay, but let's also, because the way archetypes and species are set up, there, you know, they usually have different stats and different wound values and stuff. I'm like, let's actually make sure if player characters want to specialize, they can pick some different stuff. So there's like, elves are called Alvan with an A, and like all kinds of fun spelling. Super animate that up. Fuck yeah! Or Games Workshop, Ildari. I see you over there, Games Workshop. So they're like a high int species. There's the dark version of humans, the Dredge from Eldredge, who are like the they once had the Empire and they touched the dark magic and now they're super dark and stuff. But they can see in the dark too. If Lucky plays this, he's probably going to play a Fauna because they're forest floofy people.
I like floof. I'll probably play a female too.
Obviously, because I'm writing the setting, there's a race of dragon people, and I did the Viera thing. It's like because they're related to dragons, females tend to be slightly stronger and larger than males to defend their young. So they're all the scouts and soldiers, and all the dudes are back home. Because I literally don't understand why Griya are a one gender race. I don't know. I don't even know if they explained it. Where the fuck is the lore in Tactics A2? There's winged humans I talked about. I love what I called my orc equivalent. They're pork with a Q. P-orc.
I think I might have broken my controller. I don't think I can charge it at all now.
Oh shit! You broke something.
Yeah. Which is great, because I fixed the fucking crushing damage, so now, like, the case is aligned again. But apparently, I did something else that this thing didn't like.
Not good.
Well, as I said, the charging port was fucking dying anyway.
Everybody, big F in chat.
Big F for Lucky.
Bum, 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 bum.
Good job, me. I can't even... Shit, I'm gonna have to turn off my PS4 now, because...
Well, I mean, it'll if your controller's not on, it'll turn itself off.
Yeah, I know. I get like a few seconds of power to turn it on. Now I'm just gonna enter rest mode. Maybe I can like swing something later, but fuck. Oh, it is a sad day.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I had to like balance out some of the attributes a little, and I might still have other ideas I want to go back to and include, because I didn't really do like an anime dwarf equivalent in that there's like, so the fire related race are Jinni, Jinn people. So they have higher willpower, and they're like supposed to be very creative and passionate, but they're not necessarily like tinkerers. Like there are positive intellect races, but so I don't know if I want to actually figure out like maybe a small squat technical race and figure out how they fit into things. But I think everybody's got a decent like stat spread. Like there are a couple, ones with 2 in their stats all around, and then most of the others have 1 at 1 and then 1 at 3, which is the typical for stuff in Genesys and Star Wars. You can play a shark person. They're pretty cool. They're a 3 brawn, 1 willpower race, so they're punchy. But not good at self-discipline. So I've worked out all the jobs which are like career rated. I mentioned earlier I based this off Realms of Terranoth, so I took kind of their equipment list and then I tweaked it, because that was pure ultra generic Western board and miniatures game fantasy. Even like this is the first time they turned their runebound setting into an RPG. It was like card games and mini war games and board games first. So like it was a little basic. So I was like, all right, we got to throw some Eastern flair in there because this is vaguely Final Fantasy inspired. So obviously there's going to be like a weird samurai class in there for some reason, even though that doesn't make any sense in the context of this slightly off generic Western fantasy you're building. Mm-hmm. So I like put a katana in there. There's a monk job, so there's like 3-section staff, tonfa, nunchucks. I kind of based off some stuff. Also, I was kind of shocked that there wasn't a simple club like weapon. Like I think the most basic you could go was a dagger. And like they had like,
yo, you need to be able to pick up a stick and hit people with it.
Yeah, and like I need a dirt cheap weapon that literally everybody can carry if they don't have anything else. We're gonna throw a club in here, short of punching people.
Staff if it's 2-hand, club if it's 1.
Right, and staff was in there, but and they're pretty cheap. But that is actually a 2-hand, and because this is a fantasy low tech kind of hack. Normally the Star Wars system, for instance, splits ranged attacks into ranged heavy and ranged light for 1-handed versus 2-hand weapons. If you're playing a low-tech setting where all your fun stuff is melee weapons, you do that the other way around. So melee is light and heavy, and ranged is just ranged, because there's not a big enough ranged list where shooting things, whether it be a bow, a crossbow, or... You can actually get an arquebus in this, I'm like, because there's a lot of Final Fantasy anyway, there's usually guns for no reason, assuming they're not explicitly sci-fi-esque, or some other like weird future tech setting. So there's an arquebus. It's heavy and expensive, but you can shoot at people. But that's all just ranged. So there's brawl, there's melee heavy and melee light. Now, I didn't realize this when I did the job skills the first time around, but I adjusted this later. Genesys is real friendly when it comes to defining melee light versus melee heavy. It's like, no, this is about two hands or not. A staff is melee heavy because you use two hands, but a sword, even if it's a big sword, that's still light because that's still one hand. I'm like, okay, I didn't understand that at first. I get it now. So I had to rework some of my class skills. But mostly it worked out okay. There's a fair definition. Like, I added some stuff that they didn't have, which is pretty simple. Like, there's a difference between a regular sword and a rapier. There's a couple different daggers. You can pick up a sword breaker, for instance. Like I said, I added some fun stuff. For ranged weapons, I like, Terranoth was very crossbow focused, so I'm like, no, fuck that. There's still a crossbow and a repeating crossbow, and I'm like, no. The heavy crossbow stats are now an arquebus. It's now like a man-portable, not rifle yet, but like a firearm. There's also a blunderbuss for some area effect, but super short range. I took what was hand crossbow stats and I said, these are now hand cannon stats, and now it's a pistol. And I'm just like, I'm going to keep the numbers the same, but I'm going to call it more setting appropriate. There's a hand grenade now, because grenades were a thing for a fucking long time. Like, I don't think people realize this because of fantasy tropes. Guns and firearms, basically, gunpowder weapons of all kinds, were in development for many, many fucking centuries. Like, I think the earliest Chinese black powder weapons were like the 11 or 1200s. They were like, we figured out how to make black powder blow up, like pop and stuff. And like, we put it in rocks and it, blows up and scares people. And if we put it in a giant tube, it shoots fire at them. Like I don't know if we've talked about this on mic before, but a fun fact for you out there in the internet, the term bulletproof comes from a period where armorers would give you the proof that something was bullet resistant. They would take an armored cuirass, plate steel, they'd throw it up on a stand and they'd shoot a pistol at it. And if the bullet didn't go through, your armor was bulletproofed. So, like, there's a lot of overlap with firearms that people forget about with a lot of this medieval weapons tech. So, this setting will probably have airships and sky pirates, so you need some fucking flintlock-ass weapons. Oh, and I made gunnery a skill, so I have to...
I was like,
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Lucky is fading. But,
yeah, we're at almost 2 hours. I figure I'll conclude my ramble.
Yeah, sorry.
Because I'm assuming you don't feel like talking about Nemesis now, right?
I don't.
Okay. We'll put another pin in Nemesis. No big deal.
I'll put a pin in Nemesis. Like, I'm really sorry, but, I guess I should mention this. Because of Conan Exiles, and I literally lost, Wednesday. Like, I literally lost it because I played Conan Exiles, I stayed up till noon the next day. It was like, oh shit, I need to sleep. Slept, woke up at midnight, and was all like, wait a fucking minute.
Yeah, so we recorded live with Lucky on Tuesday. I was playing Conan during that. After that turned off, I was like, yo, bruh, Conan's pretty good. Download it and play it. And you're like, alright, sweet. And then you vanished into the ether, the desert. You went into the desert and you did not come home for a while.
No.
Some would argue you still haven't come home.
Probably. But what's happened now is that I've like tried to get back onto a sleep schedule, and my body's alright. My body went, alright, brah, we got you. This is what we're gonna do. You're gonna do 3 to 4 hours of sleep, and then you're gonna wake up for 12. But after that 12, you are gonna like immediately fucking crash. And we're coming up on that 12-hour mark.
Yeah, so Lucky's on a weird primitive ass sleep schedule right now.
I really am. So it's like I'm like not in full control of it. I just like fall asleep and pass out. So I was like, technically, I'm getting like good amounts of sleep. It's just that
you're getting all the sleep you need because you're getting the appropriate phases of sleep. It's just in short segments.
Yeah, and so basically my body's saying like, no, you can't like actually stay up. You have to get this sleep now, otherwise you're gonna be completely fucked. And that's what's happening like right now. It's like, god damn it.
I'm probably sleepy because also it's like I wouldn't mind wrapping it up for too long because I have to eat food at some point.
Yeah.
The great food problem. But yeah, so I knowing Lucky, I assume that he will be interested in playing this hack because I know he likes the Genesys rules, and I made it, and we have some similar tastes in some of this stuff. So we can come up with some fun stuff. I just realized that I put gunnery as a skill that's in this version of the game, so I also probably need to come up with some heavy weapons. So you can do airship combat. Herp derp. Airships.
You spelled pork with a Q. Like
yes.
Porcine.
I'm super funny. I like wordplay. Like I spiced up the armor list a little because they had some basic stuff, and I'm like, I can throw some extra stuff in here. You know, need your vaguely Asian lamellar armor. I put some stuff in there. I put a vest in there that gives you more encumbrance because I'm like, Lucky will like this. More encumbrance. This is something we learned from Star Wars, which is like, cover yourself in as much shit as you can to carry more shit. Mm-hmm. Every stormtrooper has a utility belt. If you shoot one, steal his belt. Don't take anything else. He's got a knife, don't care. He's got his armor, it's full of holes right now. He's got a blaster, whatever. Those grow on trees. No. Give me his fucking utility belt and maybe his frag grenades. So almost everybody has one of those. There's various forms of backpacks, duffels, and other shit. There is actually an armor that gives you, like, more encumbrance or armor mods and stuff. So there's that. I already
know I want to play a Fauna Alchemist.
Oh, that's good, because, like, I haven't even added that to the list, but, like, this system already has... There's an Alchemist's kit, and they have example potions, so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to include those. I'm going to include Flask of Acid and healing potions and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to play a short, stacked, and curvy Fauna who's an Alchemist. Yep.
Healing, but also maybe the burning.
Mm-hmm. She's going to be real good at throwing shit.
It's actually really easy in this because there's only one range skill. Actually, that's a good question. Is it ranged a career skill for Alchemist? Probably not. No, you're melee light. Should I switch that to range, like, honestly, so you can throw shit?
I don't know. If, like, throwing potions is supposed to be the Alchemist thing, like, maybe swap that out. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, because I'm not... I feel like the thing would be, like, maybe you want a knife or something, but, like, no, let's not bother with that. Let's switch that to range. That makes more sense. Playtesting in action. Okay, now you have ranges. Now range is a career skill for Alchemist. That makes sense.
Prepare to get hit in the head with glass orbs filled with mysterious liquids that will probably ruin your fucking day.
Yeah, no, the acid flask is really nasty. It's like, oh, this is like a level 4 acid, so I think it's like 4 damage resisted by like a resilience check or something. Like it's or other stuff. It's like, yeah, no, this hazardous materials and atmospheres in Genesys and Star Wars are real fucking bad. Like, I think, like, a campfire is, like, 4 or 5, and that's a lot of damage you're gonna take. Unless you're, like, super heavily armored. And yeah, I'll have to figure out what, like, basic... I have to figure out, like, once I settle on the equipment list, what all the starting gear for all the jobs are. And that'll give you, like, your basic stuff, like, Alchemist, especially now that they got ranged, like, maybe they start with, like, a sling, and... probably an Alchemist kit, if that's not super expensive, and maybe nothing else. Who knows? We'll have to, I'll have to figure out how everything goes. But that's all, like, a fine-tuning thing, so that's the hack I'm working on right now. I'm working on stuff. If you're interested in that, audience, let me know, because, like, I'm always looking for, like, a few more people. Like I said, I think I said this before, I really missed being in that like, 3 to 4 people sweet spot, for some games. Like for Mages of War, I'm okay that it's 2 people. It was deliberately constructed to be 2 people, and in a sense that makes it really simple to run because it's like, yeah, you're not fucking splitting the party. Guess what? There's 2 of you. Even if you have companions, there's no reason for you to fly solo.
Nope.
So that's a lot easier. I've dealt with larger groups where there's a lot of stuff. We talked about Wild Talents before, like, oh my fuck, those guys, or I should say you guys, since you were one of them, Lucky, you love to split the party.
Yeah.
And eventually at points I had to be like, just go together. Just travel together, guys. Stop making the game take an extra hour. Even though I know you want to go do different things.
This is what happens when you got a bunch of murder hobos together.
I'll have to... Well, yeah, I can probably write some stuff in the background of this, which is like, and you always stick with your party. Party composition is a theme. That's another beautiful thing about Genesys. Because it's such a toolkit system, it's got like a step 0, which is like, okay, establish what genre your setting is in, what your general themes are, and like, what are your do's and don'ts? So everybody who's playing this setting knows what the fuck you want. Like for the Sky of Hope mecha setting, I deliberately set up stuff where it's like, Okay. This is about the trope of young mecha pilots, like, in their teens. So, even though that doesn't make any sense, you're going to be young mecha pilots in your teens. But also, it's not quite about horrible, serious mindfuck shit. So, like, it's got serious tones, but at the same time, if you guys actually stick together and, like, teamwork and hope and shit, you'll be okay. You won't die horribly. That's not what this is about.
This chair is not built well for, like, trying not to gnaw it off. I've almost fallen out of it, like, twice now. What the fuck?
All right, let's see. We're at about 2 hours. Well, we're going to cut a lot of sound, so this will be a shorter episode out. But let's go ahead and wrap this up.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Let's see. Was there anything else?
If my monster hadn't disappeared on me, this might have been a different fucking story, but I'm gonna blame an elder god on this shit.
Yogg stole your monster. He was thirsty.
He's upset that I'm not fucking eating flesh and, like, for him anymore or something. I don't know.
Alright. I think there's only one final thing I wanted to talk about, so I'll mention it really briefly, and I'll just ask you this question, Lucky, while you're sleepy and not thinking about it. Hey, Lucky, would you be okay going ghost hunting someday?
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Okay, cool. Because I may have re-upped my Rooster Teeth first and watched the Achievement Haunter series, where the achievement hunters hunt fucking ghosts, and I'm like, see, this is entertaining, where they're not super skeptical, but they're not super believery either, so it's like, we're just gonna go to some haunted places and we're gonna fuck around for a little bit with, like, random ghost tech and see what happens, and, like, some weird coincidental stuff happens, but at the same time, it's also, like, it could also be nothing. So it's like, that's super interesting. And, like, I'd do that with a buddy, not alone, fuck you very much. Because I'll say this, I'm not a necessarily superstitious person, but I'm not a skeptical person either. I'm a paranoid person. So, to me, like, one, I think it's super arrogant to assume that humans have figured out everything. Almost every time in history we've thought that, we've immediately gone and found out we were wrong. So, like, there's more things in heaven and earth, Horatio. But also, I don't see any sense in assuming that, like, there's not maybe something going on, because then you just get blindsided by shit. Like, Lucky's actually noticed this, hopefully, well, he might not remember, but Lucky has known me to do this, where, out loud, I avoid saying certain terms referring to the fair folk. Like, I don't say those out loud, possibly 3 times in a row, because I'm Anglo as fuck, and I don't want to get kidnapped by fairies. Like, there's no sense in challenging certain things, because if you're wrong, why would you fucking do that? It's like the Ghostbusters thing. If somebody asks if you're a god, say yes! Because then, if not, that weird androgynous ancient Mesopotamian god will shoot lightning at you. So, like, I've never really had a supernatural experience, but, like a ghost experience or anything. But, like, could there be something supernatural? It'd be real cool if there was. But, like, so I'm perfectly open to the idea of going on a ghost hunt, and I can also just be like, listen, an EMF detector could be detecting fucking anything, but it also may have suspiciously gone off at certain points, so who the fuck knows?
Who the fuck knows?
Now, leaving Lucky with those thoughts, now that I have basically asked him to commit suicide because Lucky is half black and I've invited him to go to haunted house with me.
Lucky is a believer in ghosts, but Lucky is only a believer in ghosts because Lucky also wants to believe in dragons and magic, and I think it is the height of hubris to say that, yeah, the things I want to believe in exist, but the things that you believe in don't. So, gods, fae, ghosts, dragons, magic, I want them all to exist, because I really do not like this mundane life. Oh boy.
But leaving Lucky to have sweet haunted house dreams on me, I think we'll go ahead and wind down at about 2 hours. And
I apologize, everyone. Next time I'll make sure that a fucking fairy does not steal my monster.
And by the way, believing in ghosts is completely different than believing that aliens are probably a thing. That's just fucking numbers, guys. That's just math.
It's statistically a thing.
No, I mean, I personally haven't solved the Fermi paradox, but, like, seriously, though. The universe is fucking big. Hey, if you like this episode, give it a like. if you have any comments about any of the other shit we rambled about, leave those in the comment section down below. We don't always get a lot of comments on WhatsApp, which is kind of sad, but like we'd love them. We'd love your comments. Mm-hmm. And hey, if you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to the channel to keep getting more WhatsApp and our other shows, like Live with Lucky, now recorded every month. We got a Patreon Q&A that we recorded that'll be coming out someday. I gotta actually finish publishing that video. And don't forget that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video, because hey, sometimes Omega is sick and then we have to delay everything like a day. Mm-hmm. Or like if we tried to record maybe an hour later, maybe Lucky would have passed out and we couldn't record today. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who the fuck knows? And like it says at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies. You can get this episode in audio format downloadable, for instance, if that's more convenient for you. And it'll really help us out. Like it's a thing in this day and age to support people with your wallet. So if you like us, like if you really like us, it'd be cool if you could throw us a couple bucks now and then. Just, let us know that you actually appreciate us and you actually value our content. Because technically, I think listening to us for free is kind of like I don't want to shame everybody, but I think there are certain people who would say from an economy philosophy, that means you don't support us if you just listen to us. Like, we don't necessarily believe that, because we love that you just give us your time and attention, and time is money, after all. But, like, I have heard from other creators that argue, like, no, if you don't directly support creators you like, that you're doing it wrong. So, like, that's a philosophical question you should ask for yourself. We love philosophical questions here on What's Up. And,
we tangent on them.
Yeah, so we'll leave you with that philosophical thought about supporting us, about ghosts, about Conan, and about Omega making adorable anime races for fantasy RPGs.